everybody, guess what? We are not, as of this moment, in World War III. Congratulations to the world. Hooray us. Let's go. Go team. Team America, right? So we all had a lot of concerns about Trump's bombs and this, that, and other. Looks like Trump had a plan there, and we're going to really get into that the second half of the show. I'm proud of all the people that spoke out against the war and spoke out again for peace and did those things. And it looks like, Trump was true to his word. He's always been about peace. He's always been about promoting peace. And man, I'm happy to see that he seems to be trying to pursue that. Now, I will say there's a lot of issues. Ceasefire is already pretty shaky. There's a lot of issues going on there. And make no mistake, the neocons, the globalists, they want a world war. But it looks like the Donald may have outsmarted him. There's a reason that we love him. There's a reason we support him. And it looks like he may have been a step or two ahead here. Mike Adams, my buddy Health Ranger, has some really, really interesting perspective on this. We'll get to that. We're going to talk all about that. We're going to talk all about the war. The SCOTUS has been active. We got a whole bunch of stuff there. The one and only her in all of her brilliance, AOC, the dumbest member of Congress, is asking for Trump's impeachment. I'm sure that's going to go very well. I mean, the guy just got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize with India, Pakistan. Looks like he might pull off peace between Iran and Israel without a major war. Yeah, good idea, Democrats. Go after impeachment. That's going to work well. Meanwhile, there are a lot of other things happening, but I got to tell you, kudos to President Trump for what he's done so far on this. Let's hope that it works out and that we don't have any other nonsense. I am absolutely 100% against any sort of real war over there. If we had to throw a few bombs to shut everybody up, okay, well, let's do that and move on. Meanwhile, SCOTUS is active. Everything's just crazy, crazy stuff happening everywhere. And we're going to get into the details on all that second half of the show. First half of the show, we got my friend Inesa back. Inesa's got a really, really cool hemp product, and I wanted to bring her back because we just had the hemp bill vetoed in Texas. And this is a big deal because this goes to MAHA, right? So I want to tie this to MAHA. When we look at the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again, a lot of us are looking at alternative remedies, alternative solutions. We all know pharma's been hiding things and covering things up for decades. We need to look to the natural. And one of the areas that I got to be honest with y'all, I was totally shocked on this. The hemp thing, I just didn't understand. Never got into it. It's like the marijuana thing. Didn't get into the whole thing. Just never on my radar. But Inesa educated me. And, I did some homework. There is a world of difference between the stuff that you take that's dangerous and unhealthy and the stuff that's naturally produced and done naturally. And it has tremendous health impacts. And it's crazy because this whole industry looks like it's been manipulated to look real bad. And I mean, it looks like it's out of the big pharma playbook. So I want to talk about this because this is a core issue related to MAHA. And I think really the more I've learned about this hemp industry, the more I realize that this just looks like it's just straight out of the big pharma playbook, the same nonsense that they do everywhere. And so I'm looking forward to kind of, really hitting this and getting it moving and chatting with Nesa about this. But before I do, of course, we've got to do a little bit of grifting. Please consider supporting us. www.givesendgo.com/RensLaw. Givesendgo.com/RensLaw. Please consider becoming a monthly supporter. Give us what you can, weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever, even if it's a one-time. We just need your help. We need your support. Whatever you can give helps us in the freedom fight, helps us to educate, helps us to do what we got to do. There's so much that needs done. Listen, Trump's doing great things, but he's got a lot of snakes around him. We, the people, have to stand up. We have to fight next to him. We have to support what he's doing to the best of our ability, or to let him know that if, hey, we think the snakes are pushing you into the wrong direction. A lot of people spoke up in this Iran-Israel thing. And listen, whether Trump had a plan from the beginning or not, at the end of the day, he ended up doing exactly what we asked him to. He's a very good, responsive president. He hears what MAGA says. He hears what we, the people, say. And God bless him for that. God bless him for that. So please givesendgo.com/RensLaw, because we've got to fight with and support him and for the MAGA agenda. Also, as I said, today we will have Inesa on. So go to TomRens.com, www.tomrens.com. Go to shop. check out our partners and affiliates. And of course, we got Block Trust IRA and all of our wonderful adults, all of our wonderful products. But scroll down just a little bit and you'll get here. Nesa Hemp. This stuff is really, really good stuff. And we'll talk a little bit about this. But because of the way Nesa processes her product, it's different. It is a different hemp product than you're going to get anywhere else. It's processed raw. It's made, it's from safe plants. Everything about this is top notch, top shelf, top quality. You can go buy junk or you can buy good stuff. If you use the junk, you're going to get no results. If you use the good stuff, well, you're going to get the results that go with it. So I want to urge you to try this out. I have been very shocked. I've tried hemp products in the past and they didn't do a darn thing for me. Nesa's got a totally different animal here. So I want to urge you, check this out. It's a quality product, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. But anyways, all right. Well, without further ado, I want to get into this because we have a lot of show today, and of course, Nesa's expert. So let's bring Inesa on. How are you doing today, Inesa?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having me back.
Well, I'm glad to have you back. I was really surprised. I mean, literally during the last show that you were on, I was like, well, let's see what Inesa has to say, and I'm kind of skeptical, but I literally real time during the show start researching some of your claims and every one of them checked out. And then when I got done, I researched some more and everything checks out. And it's like crazy because I come kind of from this old school Midwestern, you know, for anybody that knows me close, they know that I've got this weird mix. I'm like one part Viking, one part hippie. And they're just not two things that you'd think of together. But, I come from this Midwestern background. So a lot of the hippie stuff got suppressed. Later in life, it's coming out. I'm becoming in touch with I'm coming out of the closet as part hippie, part Viking. One of the things that shocked me though, is how misled we've been on this whole hemp stuff. And this is so symbolic of what we see across Maha. You'll get pharma lying and putting out fake info on things. And it's kind of like what Brian Artis found with nicotine. Nicotine doesn't cause cancer. Everybody says nicotine, you're going to get cancer. No, it doesn't have anything to do with cancer. It's not the nicotine, it's the processing and the chemicals. And the same thing is true with hemp. Hemp itself is completely safe. Can you tell me a little bit about the difference between hemp when it's naturally processed the way that you do it versus the products that are poisoned? I want to go into the Maha with this, everybody. It's not just an advertisement, although make sure you're buying Nesa's hemp. But I actually want to tie this to Maha because I think it's really critical right now.
I think this is a lot of things we need to discuss, especially on today's call, because I know there's a law came out, and thanks so much for sharing that. I have a strong view on those kind of type of things. But when you spoke earlier today about make sure you take a real deal, there's two deals going on in the market in the hemp industry. One is the pharmaceutical deal that is literally in every grocery store, in every smoke shop, in every online business sold. And there's a natural God's deal. So every single American person in America is educated or have experience on the pharmaceutical deal, which is a CBD, THC, all this genetically engineered, rewired, rechanged, patented plant that has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
While our temple, our body is screaming, empower endocannabinoid system with the CBDAs. And by the way, THCAs, which does not make you high. And in fact, there's no way to even test you positive for THC as you take THCA. So those are two different plans, two different agendas. One is like Nesa's hemp, we're so rare as a company, and what we do is so unique to the point where barely anybody knows about us. While the whole world is talking about side effects, benefits, harmful things, and all kinds of things on the CBD and cannabis, because they never understood the difference in between. So there's a huge difference. And the biggest difference is how that's made. I'm happy to share that in a minute. But the biggest is like one is the synthetic re-engineered version of the plant that is massively produced, and that's how masses are educated on this version of the plant. And
Yeah.
there's a natural God's given version that your body and your mind depends on it for you to function in a daily basis that is essential to you. And there's where the Maha comes in, because Maha is talking about the health and the movement and everything. And they have to do whatever it takes to educate our medical providers about endocannabinoid system and start empowering the endocannabinoid system, the real powerful cannabinoids, instead of fake version of these chemical plants.
100%. I mean, so this is what really shocked me, right? So the THCA that's in your product is a naturally occurring substance, and it doesn't mess up your head. It doesn't screw with you in any way, shape, or form. It is a naturally occurring substance that is actually very good for your body. And then you compare this to most of what they put out in the industry, which is chemically processed and messed with. And it does make you high and screwed up and all sorts of things and can cause all sorts of problems. But they are not the same thing. They're not, and it's not what most people are dealing with. And what Texas was trying to outlaw was the THC that messes with your head, not the natural stuff. This is critical because what everybody needs to know, hemp has long been a healing substance. There's a lot of uses for it and a lot of different things. But what pharma does is what pharma does. If they find something that is good for you and healthy, they pervert it and screw it up and make it terrible and then lie to you about it. And that's what's happened in this industry. Am I wrong?
As always, is one and the same agenda and never happens overnight. They start doing this for the last 100 years because they have all the money and power to resource and study those things. So they, since they find out how critical for the each person to empower endocannabinoid system, they did whatever it takes in the last 100 years to suppress the scientists from researching, from people not to know the real truth about the real plant. So they, when the big elephant came out from the room, which is everybody start talking about CBD and in the endocannabinoid system, which is Israel start pushing this entire topic. The big elephant out of the room was already out of the room. So they had nowhere to go except figure out how they're going to misguide us and give us something that they still can control and have hands on it. So we stay away from the truth of the plant, which is the truth of the plant. It has nothing to do, again, what's on the market. There's hemp is not just a healing benefit. We have to be loud and clear. Hemp is essential. I'm talking about essential. Just the way it's essential for you to have oxygen, this is as much as essential for you to have it in your body, empower your endocannabinoid system. There's no human being on this earth can function unless their endocannabinoid system functions. We lose that production and we lose that functionality as we expose to stress, toxins, all kinds of life situations and nanotechnologies and you name it, and metals and you name it. We lose it, Tom. We lose this endocannabinoid system. And because doctors don't even know about such one, and because there's no product on the market, I mean, I'm not talking, I mean, Nesa's hemp is clearly is the product on the market that helps you empower endocannabinoid system. But like, if you look at majority, 99.9% of the products on the market, there's no product on the market that's going to truly empower your endocannabinoid system. Now, how amazing is this? Doctors don't know you have one, which is essential human system. You can function unless your endocannabinoid system functions. And when I say don't function, I'm talking about your microbiome does not communicate correctly unless you take your endocannabinoid system to the extreme. Your mental state is not going to be there. Your inflammation actually doesn't know what to do in the body unless your endocannabinoid system tells you what to do. Your central nervous system depends like life on it, on endocannabinoid system. Is your neurologist or your doctor knows about endocannabinoid system and central nervous system and they both depend on each other?
Yeah.
No. No. This
No,
is
they
like,
don't. Well, you're right. And I want to, so let me show you what I did. I just did this really quick because I wanted to show everybody. So this was one of the many things that I learned in the last interview that I was like, you know, I'd never heard of that. I don't know about this endocannabinoid, whatever. So I did this during the last interview. I researched it since then. But here, I just did this little grok search.
Uh-huh.
Um, and Grok is of course a big fan of big pharma, but I said, well, give me bullet points explaining what the endocannabinoid system. All right, and so here you've got it. It's a system, does all these things, and I don't want to get through everything, right? I don't need to go through everything, but the key here is I want to come down here. What's it do? Regulates processes such as mood, memory, appetite, pain sensation, sleep, immune response, and stress. Modulates neurotransmitter release, influencing communication between neurons. Plays a role in neuroprotection and reducing inflammation, right? So this is a very, very real thing. It's a very important thing. But yet, as Inesa said, go ask your doctor, hey, doc, how's my endocannabinoid system going? He's going to look at you like, what the hell are you talking about? Nobody knows about this. Bobby's been talking a lot about how doctors don't get trained in nutrition. They not only don't get trained in nutrition, but they didn't know this is even a thing, 99% of them. I have never, for the last 5 years, I spent more time with my nose in medical journals than I have in law books because I have to, dig out this stuff. I have never, until our last interview, heard of this. But this is what the pharma companies do. They find these things, they figure out what these things are, and then they suppress it or pervert it or screw it up or mess with it. And that, to me, the reason that this is so important is you've got, I don't know, 70, 80 years of vilifying everything related to THC, everything related to cannabinoids. Everything has been vilified. And there's no real science behind it. I mean, when I look at a lot of the science, it's all based on the processed THC poisons, but those are made and intentionally. It's kind of like the study that they did on hydroxychloroquine to try and make it look bad. They're manipulated studies. I haven't found a whole lot that actually tests, the true THCA that you're talking about. The whole thing looks like a manipulation. Have I missed something?
Big time. You're absolutely right on the spot, because even today people say it's like, okay, there's not enough research to share that CBDA it's way more powerful than CBD. uh we definitely have already a bunch of research explaining that, but the problem is because there's so much on the CBD comparing with CBDA. But Tom, think about this. If we today gonna truly show a pure science on the CBDA and how much empowers human endocannabinoid system, this whole country literally loses. I mean, all the pharmaceuticals loses trillions of dollars a day,
Sure.
because now if all this, they have to then, first of all, they have to legalize this as a superfood. The second, they can't control it because a CBDA, it's a natural form of the plant, cannot be controlled. Now they're losing
Oh,
money by not controlling and not giving you prescription.
that's the key.
Exactly. And the third thing is everybody gets healthy, because by you empowering endocannabinoid system, almost 90% of your health problems gets immediately, almost immediately get better, or at least improved. I can't say you're going to get cured. I'm not saying you're going to be some magically fixed. Some people saying they are magically fixed because they've been it's just like thirsty for 30 years. Your
Yeah.
body is thirsty for these cannabinoids for 30 years. Your body is thirsty for 60 years. When you give it to the body what the body is thirsty for, and your body functions only on that system, of course, a result, you're gonna feel better. And people say, what is gonna be better for? For everything. Your mind, your vision, your hair growth, your hormones, your microbiome, your moods, your immune system can't even function without endocannabinoid system. And everybody talks, let's empower immune system, let's take supplement this, let's take supplement that. Oh well, you can try as much as you can, but if the endocannabinoid system is not sending a signal for immune system to function while you're trying to empower that immune system, all your vitamins and nutrients, oh well, my friend, people need to understand this, and people need to stand for themselves. There's nothing happens in this temple unless you empower endocannabinoid system. You can be the best nutrients, best vitamins, best diets, best waters, best anything. Nothing happens. It's literally the most essential thing. And Maha, I don't know what's happening with all these laws, but I really hope they're gonna have enough guts to stand up and say enough is enough. We need to make this as a superfood. It has to be in every single grocery store, just next to the spinach, avocados, and the grapes, and give it to the people as a superfood because they need this in their body, and it is a superfood. But oh well, be losing trillions of dollars now, because if these people gonna empower in the cannabinoid system, this country, the pharmaceuticals are done. They're
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, 100%. I mean, this would have a huge impact. I mean, so I understand just looking at my Grok response, right? Immune response, stress. Um, it talks about reducing inflammation, neuroprotection. I mean, issues with inflammation are linked to cancer. They're linked to autoimmune issues. I mean, inflammation is a huge, huge issue nobody talks about. When we talk about stress and immune response, I mean, these are huge deals. And the mood thing is the one that's really interesting. I mean, listen, if the system impacts all of these different things, and if you can positively impact this system through the use of a natural hemp, that's a big deal. But let's talk real quick about the difference between the hemp that's you're processing and the stuff that's out there. Because folks, since Inesa actually is creating a product that's like legit healthy and legit good for you, and what I really want to do is focus on the difference between that and the other, because that's where the Maha thing comes in, right? When we talk about Maha, you've got to understand this is how pharma does it. It's like tobacco and nicotine and that sort of stuff. Well, when they process it with chemical, just like sugar, actually, when you process seed oils, you process things with these dangerous chemicals. If I go eat a natural, all natural walnut or all natural whatever, it's not a big deal. Once you get done processing it, burning it, and poisoning it, and this, that, and other, then it becomes unhealthy. This has been the big egg, big pharma secret sauce for 100 years. Take something natural, take something healthy, poison it, and then tell you about all the health issues it causes, because they don't want you to use the natural, which would actually heal you. So tell me a little bit about the difference and why it's so important, the processing, what you do versus what they're pushing, because I think that really illustrates what they're doing to kind of lie about the Maha side.
100%. And their secret sauce is not going to work on Nesa's hemp. They already tested our products minimum 3 times. They send it to the all their pharmaceutical laboratories, and some even the government laboratories. You find out the address has been shipped. And you know what? They tried to figure out how to shut us down and find something that's wrong with us. They couldn't come up with anything. I mean, good luck with that. I go above and beyond crazy. Last week, we're extracting the plants, and guess who was extracting plants? Those hands right here. Okay.
You're
Now,
doing it yourself?
yes, sir, because I'm a control freak. I gotta be perfect.
I've
Yes,
kind of picked that
I
up.
have a team. I have a team of people who helps me, but I'm the one who pours and makes sure every single thing with those hands on is 100% by me. There's no some third party does something for me. I don't know what happened in facility. I start purifying facilities 3 days prior we open any raw materials or anything like that. So long story short is I know about this because I'm involved from the seed to the harvest to the growth to the extraction, except the bottling. I don't bottle myself. We use a different source. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying here is there is a huge difference. And the reason I created Nesa's hemp because I saw how this whole industry is getting tweaked again and people getting misguided. So they want to have all these negative and side effects and all these people screaming CBD is bad, THC is bad, which is these people are correct. CBD is probably not the best thing for you. And the THC, especially the THC, is probably not the best thing for you, to be honest with you. I never smoked weed in my life. I would never smoke weed. You would never convince me to do that. I'm against cannabis industry. I'm not saying all is bad, but I'm talking about very few people out there doing something or trying to do something right. So what's the difference? It's very simple.
Oh, wait a
First,
second. Wait a second. You're selling CBDs and hemp, and let's just be real clear. You're not a pot infested hippie.
no.
I'm teasing.
Oh, sometimes people send me, like, so you sell pot in us. I was like, no, I'm not. I sell something that your body already makes it, and it's already in the baby from the moment the baby's born. It's in the mother's breast milk. I'm not giving you anything outside your body. So what I'm saying here is this is what's happened in industry, and I investigated myself with my own. I walked every facility, I was just that police officer for weeks and weeks until I discovered what's going on. So in the mother nature we never had two plants. They always had a hemp plant. But in the last 100 years, they created two versions of one plant, two mutations. One is called cannabis, high THC. That is beyond everything about cannabis is engineered. Okay, and
So we have a genetically engineered non-hemp hemp plant.
yes, so they created a new genetic, new hybrids. All those hybrids are called today cannabis, THC. That is never existed in Mother Nature, no matter how you slice it. And then you have a hemp, original hemp, that's been seeds got changed genetically. And I'll talk about what's going on in Africa because I tried to get my new seeds right now from Africa, and the stuff I'm hearing is crazy. Actually, I had a conversation last week. So the seeds are engineered, so the seeds are no longer original, doesn't have the same frequency in the seeds. And also, as they grow the hemp plant, they change the structure by heating, by using the solvents, by using all these different processes that are harmful, not just for the plant, not just for the human, but also allows them to patent because it becomes a second version of the plant. Okay, so it's
This
three
is the
problems.
key. This is the key, and I want to interrupt just for a second. So this is what pharma does. They can't patent a natural product. They can't patent a plant. So they steal all the seeds, they steal it all, they get rid of the plant essentially. They don't let anybody have the natural, and then they control the product. And the product is this new plant that's this Frankenstein poison. This is Maha, folks. This is what we're fighting. It's the big ag, big pharma industrial complex. They're one and the same. They screw with the plant, they screw with the seed, they screw with the processing, they mess it all up so that they can control it, control the money, and then lie about the product.
1000%, and it goes really deep. I just discovered new things last week. I was already almost mind blown away, and that doesn't even surprise me anymore. But like from the last weeks, I went completely insane. So what's happening is, in the nature, the way we had for thousands of years, we never had THC or CBDs. Do you think Jesus was walking the earth and some using solvents and re-engineering the seeds and using the laboratory and breathing the seeds? No. It was a one plant that never, in the original plant, there's no THC and there's no CBD. Those are re-engineered, the way you process it, the way you do things after you grow it, so you can patent, and doesn't work on the human body. That's why we have all these crazy side effects on all these CBD products and THC, because it's not meant to be in the first place. So in the Mother Nature, you have in the plant CBDA, THCA, and CBGA, and CBVA, and all those natural occurring compounds that are beyond crucial to your body. You need them as much as you need your air in a daily basis, your air, water, and food. This is how essential they are to you. It's the most essential thing to you, okay? So now what they did, they changed it, not just genetics, but the way they process, so they patented. And the problem is, Tom, last week I was talking to my team in Africa. And I said, I'm hunting for the new seeds because I'm ready for my next year harvest. I'm preparing as I'm looking for the oldest seed again, looking for new genetic. Can somebody find me new seeds? So we found these non-GMO sources labeled in Africa as non-GMO labeled. Guess what I find out? So digging deep, investigating this whole industry. And I find out those non-GMO seeds are sent from Africa to America. They genetically engineered, and they send them back in Africa and put them back on the market. So when the people come from America or someone else in the world, they think they're buying certified organic seeds, but they actually been sent back in America, re-engineered in America, sent them back to Africa. So people buy from there. They think they're buying from there, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
I said, that stuff is not gonna fly with me. I need from the Wild West. I need from the nature, from the mountains. I need from for the forest. This is not gonna work.
You need heirloom seeds.
Yeah, exactly. But you see how they're making it? They sound so innocent. They sound they never seen America's laboratories, but that's not the case. They actually rebreed them here and send them back there. So you think you're buying from Africa? So
Yep.
messed up.
No, this again, case study and what we're dealing with. These guys, they lie, they steal, they manipulate everywhere in the world. It's one of the most insidious things ever. There's a reason. I mean, a lot of farms, you can't even buy a seed that's not, genetically engineered. You can't grow seeds that aren't genetically engineered. I mean, it's insane how messed up our agriculture is from beginning to end. But you have found a way to get a hold of heirloom and traditional. And so you've got the natural stuff that doesn't mess with anybody's head. Uh, you know, Now I want to tie this in, right? I want to tie this in because we've got a bunch of different things happening, including we've got this law in Texas, right? And this law in Texas was important. It was Senate Bill 3, and it was just vetoed by Governor Abbott. So that's a good thing. And basically, they were going to ban all consumable hemp products that contained any measurable amount of THC or intoxicating cannabinoids, right? Now, here's the problem, right? The law may have ended up banning stuff like Nesa's hemp because even though there's a THC, it's THCA. It's not the poison stuff. It's a different animal. But the law doesn't necessarily distinguish because the legislature doesn't even know there's a difference. The guys elected in Texas don't even know this. They're just trying to keep their kids from being potheads. And okay, fair enough. I mean, if that's your goal, but like that's not what's happening here. It's a lie, it's a misconception, and it's all based in an intentional mistruth. Is that correct?
100%. And that's the saddest part, that these people that create these laws or banned or whatever they decide to do with the laws, they don't understand the full picture of the plant, and they don't even understand what they're banning. And as I said, I'm not a big fan of high THCs. I don't believe kids should be smoking weed. I think it's not okay in many levels. We have research showing how it destroys your brain, especially if you go all these crazy levels of THC.
Even
Yes,
on Tuesdays?
I'm sorry.
Even on Tuesdays? I'm
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm a little off today. So
Did you
just bad
smoke
jokes.
something today?
Not yet, but no, I'm joking.
No, that was cute. I appreciate that. I need to laugh once in a while. I'm always so serious. But yeah, so what I'm saying is, first of all, nothing happens until we, the people, start educating our doctor, our governor, our pediatrician, whatever these people are. So that's why this is very helpful. And I'm so grateful for you sharing the message of the world, because people like yourself can bring a truth, and these people can go out there and share the truth with others. Because those high level lawmakers or even doctors, so many doctors I worked with, they have no clue about endocannabinoid system, but they sell CBD. I said, what are you doing? Do you understand
Yeah.
the difference? And these people, chiropractors, holistic doctors, so many holistic doctors come to me. It's like, oh my gosh, and I said, you just opened my eyes. I never knew about this, and I've been holistic for the last 15 years. Great. So the mini communication so miscommunicated and so masked up where it's almost impossible for you to know. So my goal is, hopefully I have God's grace to do this, and all the power and people's support to go and expose the truth and share the truth. So the law becomes, let's stop the poison and let's allow what's the most essential to your body to become a mainstream grocery based.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna get high. Everybody will start functioning in much better levels in every level in the body, in every areas in the body, almost instantly. And we no longer going to be so sick as entire country. We're going to drop 50 to 30 or even 70% of disease in the next 3 months, as we're going to make this as a mainstream. Do you think that's going to happen? Is too many threats in between. So who's going to educate these lawmakers? Who's going to go out there and speak the difference? Because they have no clue. Even if you get stopped in an airport on a CBD bottle, because airspace is a federal government space. It's like in
Yeah.
states like Illinois, for example, where I am, it's legal. But like Texas now, it's illegal. If you fly from Illinois in the government space, which is air, like now you're basically federally doing things illegally. And if you landed in Texas, say, hey, I don't have a CBD here at THC. I actually have Nesa's, which is CBDA. People don't even know what it is. This is how bad the situation is. The,
It,
the,
it,
your, agents, your agents in the airport, they will have to figure out science. They not, and there's nowhere publicly traded information for them to even figure out in the first place. So how they gonna figure out? Now you're stuck in the airport where something that's completely legal to you and you're labeled as illegal. Come on.
Well, so when you look at Texas, you had some guys arguing that THC products are poison marketed to children. Well, that's true. Most of them are. Most of them are. But the problem is this is the brilliance, the evil brilliance of the pharma industry. Yes, the poisonous stuff is marketed towards kids, and it's no good. But when the COVID vaccines came out, they're mRNA. Well, messenger RNA is a naturally occurring thing that is in every person's body. Every living creature has mRNA. The problem is that the COVID vaccines were never messenger RNA. They were modified RNA, which is different from messenger RNA, and everybody knew that. They called it mRNA so that people would assume it was messenger, but it was never messenger. It was modified RNA. It was a lab-created poison. So I want to draw the parallel. They talk about THC, but THC and THCA are two different things. They're different animals. Much like mRNA and messenger RNA and mod RNA, they both start with M, but they're wildly different animals. And you see the parallel here, right? So THCA versus THC, mRNA versus mod RNA. This is the type of game that these guys play. This is why we can't make America healthy, because pharma's cheating. They're lying. They're fraudulent. They're garbage. And no one's catching them except for Inesa. Inesa's figured it out.
I figured it out, and I'm not gonna stop until we're gonna make the change. And I really would love to argue this law. I would love to argue. It would just melt me, because I cannot stop think of how mother's breast milk is loaded with these specific, almost same cannabinoids as in the Nesa's hemp bottle, to empower not the baby's immune system, what everybody thinks the breast milk is. It's actually baby's endocannabinoid system. The first thing mother does when the baby is born, when she gives a breast milk, she empowers the baby's endocannabinoid system. So the government says that endocannabinoid system is not okay to be empowered for the children. I would say then you should make it the breast milk is also illegal. This is how there are almost the same thing. It does the same function to the human body. It's like, this is such a nonsense. At this point, you have to be a scientist. It's 2 plus 2. It's just not 8. It's absolutely 4 in my books. So I would love to argue this. I would love to stand there. I would love to argue this point. And I have so much to say. And I know we don't have enough time today. It just gets me going.
Well, you do get very excited, but I love the passion for your product and for your work. And I thought this is really important for people to see, because, I mean, listen, you got a woman here who has, she's found something she cares about so much that she's literally making her own product with her own hands. I mean, it's Nesa's company. She's running it. And yet she's still making the product with her own hands. She's out finding this. I don't think I know. Nesa, I think I should introduce you to Greg and Natalie, who are two close friends of mine. They run Dulce. You and them are two of the most passionate entrepreneurs I've ever met. Greg and Natalie, and then you. They've got their sweetener product. You've got your hemp product, and I really just love you guys, because your passion for your work and your product really shows through, and it's such a big deal because it's pure, folks. You can see this, right? So you've got a woman here who's found something, found a truth. It's a big deal. It makes a big difference, and it reflects on an entire industry. What she's seeing, what Inesa is seeing here, much like what Dulce saw in the sweetener. Dulce is a sweetener. It's a natural sweetener, competes with the sugar industry, right? Here, you've got a natural hemp product that empowers a system in your body that nobody even knows exists, does all sorts of good things. And you've got this passion from Inesa, which is really a wonderful thing to support. And I hope everybody will support her, by the way. Please, folks, please support her. It will help your health. It's good for you. It's a very good thing. Wonderful product. Make sure you go to tomrenz.com, www.tomrenz.com. Check our partner affiliates. Check on Nesa's stuff. But Nessa, I'm going to give you the last few words on this. And I know you could talk for hours, and we'll have you back again here sometime soon. But what do you think? I mean, you feeling good? Are you feeling optimistic? Feeling like we can take on this monster and that we can kind of get this set? Or, where are you at on things?
I personally never like to count on anybody else out there, but I know for sure that when I get up every morning, and I get up early, most people sleep that time, but when I get up every morning, that I know personally I will do whatever it takes from my energy, from my 24 hours a day I have, from my 7 days a week, to do whatever it takes with changing it. So yes, maybe people will come and help me. I would be more than grateful, but I'm not gonna wait until somebody's gonna do somewhere. I'm not gonna wait until law is gonna change. I'm literally gonna go and do it myself, because that's the only one time I know I can count. Same with charities. We as Nesa's Hemp, we also donate all kinds of money for all kinds of good causes. I'm coming myself from very humble background. I had not easy childhood, whatever you call it. So what I'm saying is, I don't go and donate to somebody I don't know. I see the person on the street and they need help. I'll stop. I'll do whatever it takes to help it. If it's some money, if it's me to do something, whatever I need to do, I do need to know who you are. So I'm not going to wait until somebody's going to go do something. I'm just going to go and do it myself. Do we have a hope? It's almost like asking, Inesa, you think you're going to do it? There's no questions asked. I am going to do it. It's just going to happen. It's just a matter of the time when, because I do have a lot going on. I do work with patients. I have clinics I run. I'm starting my clinical trials. There's so much going on. So with that being said, I am a busy person, but I know for a fact that every single day I'm moving closer and closer where I need to be to make the change for all of us.
I can imagine you probably are pretty busy. You seem like you've got a bit of a fire going there. So uh, it's wonderful, and Nessa, I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate what you're doing, and thank you for helping every. I really wanted to illustrate this point because I'm seeing all these different things in Maha, and this is such a foundational thing, and I think the hemp industry really kind of represents a huge deal. And since you're doing it the way that it ought to be done, I just really admire what you're doing. So make sure you come back and join us again sometime soon.
I would love to. I appreciate the chance.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'll follow up with you very soon, and I appreciate everything. And thank you again for joining us, Inesa. We'll have you back very soon.
Thank you. God bless.
You too. All right. I love Inesa. She's awesome. She's a rock star. And, I'm glad to be working with her on some stuff. She does a great job. Um, all right. So I want to move into some other things because we got some crazy, crazy stuff happening, and we can't go through today without talking Israel. Um, we really, really, really need to kind of understand what's going on here. So we've got this ceasefire going on in Israel, Iran, and it's under stress immediately, right? So Trump announces, we got a ceasefire, and that's what I think Trump is trying to do. Like I think Trump is doing exactly what we would expect him to do, which is to shoot for peace. I think he's trying to avoid the endless war thing. And he says he's got this thing going, right? He's got this ceasefire thing. But it was a little peculiar because he gave both sides, he gave Israel like 12 hours and Iran 12 hours and Israel 24 hours or something like that, right? One of them got 12, one of them got 20, to finish up whatever they were doing. And I didn't really understand that because it's like, what, you need time to shoot a few extra missiles? Like someone's got to get the last word in? Um, I didn't understand that part of the strategy or why we would do that or why that would even make sense. But, I'm not in the negotiating room, so I don't really care. What I care about is us getting to peace. I don't want our American boots on the ground. And, the potential for escalation is a big one. We just got to be real careful with that. Because we want this to be, to end up where it needs to be. So here's what happened, right? So kind of a timeline. So 6 a.m. Trump announced, or 6 p.m. Trump announces a ceasefire agreement, right? He says he posts on Truth Social. It says, "quote, it has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel will have wound down, completed, or in progress final missions. For the 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended, During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. Okay, so that's that. You got 12 hours for Iran and 24 for Israel, which I don't know why the different timing. That seemed a little peculiar to me as well, but it is what it is. So then you've got Tel Aviv, Israel. They strike Iran again, right? So this is about 3 a.m. So you got from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. So you got a few hours, not too many. Israel just decides to blow Iran up, right? So they hit a bunch of stuff and did a bunch of damage, and that's that. Well, naturally, that made Iran upset. So Iran at 7 a.m. Launches a bunch of missiles. Okay. Now the missiles, these did some damage. 7 a.m. also ceasefire begins, right? Now just after that, you got more missiles fired, right? These are missiles fired, but there's just 3 of them, and they didn't do anything bad. They just blew up in a field or something. They really didn't do much of anything. They were, I think, let's see, 3 missiles. They were either intercepted or landed in open areas, so they didn't do anything. Israel then decides to blow a bunch more stuff in Iran. They hit a bunch of stuff, and that's that. So then Trump says, "Listen, I've had enough. What the hell are you guys doing? This is a peace deal. We got a ceasefire, and all you guys are doing is shooting each other with missiles." Well, Trump was clearly pretty annoyed, right? Trump actually said very famously, "I'm really unhappy about Israel going out this morning because of a rocket that didn't land, perhaps by mistake. You know what we have? We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the F they're doing. Do you understand that?" And that's what the president said to reporters. He dropped the F-bomb, which I got a huge boot out of. So hey, listen, guys, when you hear me slip up and throw in a bad word, so does Trump. So you're going to have to give me a back. Give me a little bit of a break on it. So anyways, Trump clearly made it, everybody clear that he was pretty grumpy about it. So Israel pulls back, and that's where we're at right now. So you've got this back and forth, a very, very strained ceasefire at the moment. Now, Mike Adams a few days ago puts out a theory. And Mike Adams is my buddy from Brighteon, Health Ranger, good dude. And he is not a huge fan of Israel. He's very knowledgeable in the topic. But I don't know. I just think I don't know enough about his position, know where he's at. I support Israel's right to defend itself, and I of course support the Jewish people. But I don't. I view Israel as a lot like America, right? I mean, we're corrupt, we're broken. We're full of bad politicians and bad people who do bad things. It just happens, right? So, I mean, hey, guys, if you're going to post a hemp link, come on. I just see in the comments. Come on here, guys. Let's have. I love you guys. If you're going to post a hemp link, just do me a favor. Just go with this one, right here, right here. Nesa's hemp. Tom runs. Share that one for me. Yeah, give me a break here. Anyways, I'm teasing you guys. I'm teasing you. But anyways, so we've got this stuff going with Israel. Mike Adams says that he thinks that this stuff in Israel is really just it's fake, that it's theater. And Mike actually shared this guy named Jordan Sather who breaks it down. I want to show you the breakdown because I think it's worth hearing. It's really interesting. Let's see. I get the sound on. Here we go. Ready?
It's almost as if Trump already made a deal with Iran and we're just seeing the script play out. Exhibit A. Today, Iran retaliated for the nuclear facility strikes and sent missiles towards a U.S. base in Qatar. But here's the thing. Iran warned the U.S. through diplomatic channels before that happened. No missile hit a base, no U.S. casualties. And the U.S. had already evacuated that base last week. This was all purely performative. And this is similar to Iran's retaliation for the U.S. taking out Soleimani in 2020. They sent missiles towards U.S. bases in Iraq, but all those missiles missed. Trump even talked about Iran missing on purpose in a Fox News interview.
Do you know they called me to tell me we're going to hit a certain location, but we're not going to hit it. It's going to be outside of the perimeters.
Who called you?
Iran called me. They let us know, don't move. We're going to have to hit you back. Psychologically, we have to do that because we hit them on something. Now, they had to do it because they have people and they have to show strength. So they aimed the missiles, but they said, please don't attack us. We're not going to hit you. That was respect.
And one thing with those U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, no casualties, facilities evacuated beforehand, and no radioactive fallout. What if Trump already made a deal with Iran through back channels? What if Iran was more than happy to have Trump help them cut their puppet strings to the New World Order? What if we're just seeing a show play out for the world stage to end this conflict between Iran and Trump that they already agreed to behind the scenes? And Trump already came out and said he was expecting Iran to retaliate and he wants no more U.S. engagement in the Middle East. All those influencers claiming Trump was Bush 2.0 and sensationalizing World War III content can eat crow now.
Okay. So this is a really interesting perspective to me. Basically, what they're saying here is that Trump and Iran made a deal. Trump and Iran knew that the neocons were insisting on a world war. Trump and Iran knew that these neocons, these globalists, these bad guys, they've been trying to get a world war in Ukraine for years now. It's not working. And so they figured that Israel-Iran would be a better go. So they're trying that now. And the theory is that Trump said, hey, I don't want a world war. I don't want to be the president of another endless war in the Middle East, which is part of the reason we voted for Trump. He was going to end wars. So he says to Iran, listen, I'm going to drop some crappy bombs that we're going to claim are, bunker busters. They're not really. I'm going to drop them. They're going to do a little bit of damage on the outside of your system. And we're going to claim that we totally destroyed your nuclear capabilities. Get your stuff out of there. Let's pretend. So we go drop these bombs. And Iran says, okay, but once you drop the bombs, we're going to shoot some missiles at you to pretend that we're really mad. Our missiles aren't going to do anything. We're going to shoot them at a base that's going to be empty. And but what we're going to do is we're going to make it like we had a fight. And we're going to make it like America knocked out everything on such a grand scale that there's no longer any reason for a war. Now, that's some 5D chess, right? And I hear a lot of people talking about 5D chess with Trump. I don't see evidence of it 90% of the time. In fact, I see evidence of an absolute foobar mess in many cases. In this particular case, though, is it impossible? I don't know. I mean, there's some really interesting evidence to suggest and to back it up. This is one of the first times I've ever seen any actual evidence that suggests that this whole 5D chess theory might be accurate as applied to this specific situation. Now, there's still no 5D chess on 90% of what's happening. And, that's that. But in this particular instance, would it be impossible that Trump would talk to Iran and, say, hey, this is where we are and this is what's going on? I don't think that's impossible at all. I think it's not only not impossible, I think it's very reasonable to assume that this could happen. So, we'll see. I mean, at this point, now there's no real good justification for Israel or the globalists to launch an even bigger war. I mean, there's just, if nothing else happens, we're good. And so Trump shooting Israel down this morning saying, guys, cut the crap, we're done. Well, that's a big deal because if the point was to undermine the purpose of the war, Trump has done it. I mean, it is undermined. There is no global good excuse for us having more war. So if this was a move, it was a brilliant move, to be real honest with you. It was a very big deal. Hey, I got more on this, but I want to real quick hit AOC, the dumbest member of Congress. So former bartender AOC, who is not smart enough to actually, I know some bartenders. Yours truly was a bartender at some point. If you're a good bartender, you're going to probably be pretty sharp. You got to be on top of things. But AOC, I think, was a dumb bartender. And I doubt she was all that good. She probably was one of those girls who mixed terrible drinks, but was just she is working her tips a different way. Let's put it that way. That's what I think when I think of AOC. But this dingbat says, now mind you, Trump is potentially shutting down a war with Israel and Iran. He just shut down between India and Pakistan. He's just getting nominated by the Nobel Peace Prize. And these idiots in Congress, like AOC, want to impeach him for dropping a few bombs in Iran. Folks, that's my skeptical face. Of course, the president is 100% within his authority to do what he did. No question at all. None whatsoever. For AOC to be having this disingenuous hissy fit over Trump's involvement in Israel and what's going on over there is absolutely absurd. It's literally absurd. There is no good reason for it. And, frankly, go ahead, Democrats. Go ahead. Right now is the perfect time. Try your impeachment out. Let me know how that goes for you. Because, Trump right now is being celebrated for a ceasefire in the Middle East, ceasefire between India and Pakistan. MAGA loves a lot of what he's doing. Not everything, but he's doing a generally great job. And now, of all times, are when the Democrats want to launch an impeachment inquiry. AOC is truly an idiot. I don't know what else to tell you. By the way, she's claiming that that this was a violation of the War Powers Act and War Powers Clause. The president has the ability to respond and do certain things under that act. Okay, it's a constitutional question. She has no basis for anything she's saying or doing. She sounds like an idiot. She looks like an idiot. She is an idiot. So, I don't know what to say about this whole thing other than good luck, AOC. By all means, you try and knock Trump out in that way, and you let me know how that goes. So there's a lot more, folks. I got so much more I didn't get to today, but we're going to call her a day. We'll be back tomorrow. I appreciate everything you do. Appreciate your support. Thank you, guys. We will be back very soon.